So guys, in this video we are going to learn the theory about this cross-site scripting, and this cross-site scripting is also called XSS. X stands for cross, and site scripting is type of vulnerability typically found in the web applications. And what this one attack means, this XSS attacks enables attackers to inject client-side scripts into web pages viewed by other users. So with this XSS vulnerability, we can inject our client-side script, which is a JavaScript. We can send through this HTML request, and that will be passed by the server, and if there is any misconfiguration, this XSS vulnerability triggers, and the script or the payload which is written in the JavaScript that will be executed by the server, and that is reflected in our browser. So this is somewhat background about this XSS, and Microsoft security engineers introduced the term cross-site scripting in January 2000, and you can read the background information about this cross-site scripting in Wikipedia. And there are some types of this XSS attacks. I will just say the heading and explain briefly without explaining all these paragraphs. So first one is non-persistent or reflected. So what this means is, if you want to send the script along with the HTML request, and then it will be executed by the web server. So after execution, you will get the same execution on the browser side. So that is called reflected. So whatever the code executes at the web server side, that will be reflected in our browser side. That is reflected. And next one is persistent or stored. So in this XSS vulnerability, you will send the JavaScript payload as usually, but it will be stored in the database or any other file format. So that stored payload will get executed whenever you are visiting this page. So if suppose, let's say example, this is wikipedia.org and this is the URL. I am sending the payload by putting the hash or something in the URL, and that will be stored in the database of the web server. So whenever I load this web page, automatically the payload with respect to this website will get loaded. So don't worry if this sounds confusing, we will do the practical demo in the next video. So simply understand the stored XSS. Our JavaScript script will be stored in the database, and whenever I just visit this website, that JavaScript will be triggered. So it is very dangerous because it will affect our other users also, and you can also steal the cookies, and we can also use this DDoS attack, and we can also do this website website defacing. So these some of these attacks we can do with the XSS. So next one is DOM based vulnerabilities. In this we will modify the HTML content, and we place the using this DOM. We have already seen this document object model in the JavaScript, so we can use this HTML elements. We can access these HTML elements with the DOM, and we can just, instead of putting some values, we can put the JavaScript payload. So this is the self access and mutated XSS. So this self access is not an actual XSS because this is not stored on the server, not reflected on the server, but we will trick the user into executing this XSS. So user may find easily the JavaScript payload in the URL, or you can just use a short link to hide the payload. So these are the basic types of this XSS. One is the reflected, stored, and the DOM based XSS. So in reflected, each time we need to send the JavaScript payload, and then it will execute and in the web server, and we get the reflection. And in the stored, if you send once the payload, it will be stored in the database until it resets, and then whoever visiting that website, and that corresponding JavaScript payload will get executed.